Okay, let's talk about one of the most powerful habits you could ever develop for better communication. Seriously, this one is a total game changer. We're breaking down Stephen Covey's incredible Habit 5, Seek First to Understand, Then to Be Understood.
So let me ask you something. Think about the last conversation you were in. When the other person was talking, what was happening in your head? Were you really, truly listening? Or were you just kind of waiting for them to take a breath so you could jump in and say your piece? Be honest with yourself here.
For most of us, most of the time, our goal is to reply. We're listening through the filter of our own lives, our own experiences. It's like we're watching our own movie in our head and trying to fit their words into our script. The paradigm shift, the massive change we need to make, is to stop listening to reply and start listening just to understand. To actually switch off our own movie for a minute and try to see theirs.
And when you make that shift, you unlock this incredible skill. This is the highest level of listening there is, empathic listening.
Empathetic listening is so much more than just hearing the words coming out of someone's mouth. It's about getting inside their world, their frame of reference, so you can see things the way they see them. And this is key. It's not about agreeing with them. Not at all. It's just about deeply, fully, and completely understanding them on both an intellectual and an emotional level.
And here's why that's so critical. Get this. Experts say that the actual words we use, they only make up about 10% of our communication. Just 10%. 30% is our tone of voice, the sounds we make. And the biggest slice of the pie, a full 60% is our body language. So if you're only listening to the words, you are literally missing 90% of the conversation. It's wild when you think about it.
Now, it's also really important to know the difference between empathy and sympathy. They sound similar, but they're worlds apart. Sympathy is a form of agreement. It's saying, oh, I know exactly how you feel. But empathy is a form of deep understanding. It's saying, help me understand how you're feeling. One is about you, the other is about them. It's non-judgmental, pure understanding.
Okay, so we get the what and the why, but how do we actually do this? Well, the easiest way to think about it is to borrow a rule that all true professionals live by.
Just imagine for a second that you walk into an optometrist's office and you say, I'm having trouble seeing.
And the doctor, without even looking at you, just takes off his own glasses, hands them to you, and says, here, try these. They work for me. You'd think he was crazy, right?
Of course, you expect a thorough diagnosis before you get a prescription. And yet, think about how often we do this in our conversations. We jump right in with advice, with solutions, our prescription, without ever taking the time to truly understand the problem from their perspective. But when you get this right, when you master this diagnose before you prescribe approach, wow, the results are just incredible. The biggest benefit by far is that you give the other person what Covey calls psychological air. I mean, think about it. Right after our need to physically survive, our deepest need is to feel understood. The last time someone really listened to you, how did that feel? It's like a massive weight is just lifted, isn't it? That's the power of making someone feel truly seen and heard.
Every single time you listen with real empathy, you're making a huge deposit into what's called the emotional bank account. You're building up this massive reserve of trust with that person. You're creating a safe space where real, honest, open communication can actually happen.
And look, this isn't just about feeling good. This has incredibly practical outcomes. You stop working off of assumptions and start getting the real story. Your ability to influence others goes through the roof because, here's the secret, people are open to your influence only after they feel like you've been influenced by them. And all those arguments and misunderstandings, they start turning into opportunities to create something new and better together.
All right, so you've listened, you've diagnosed, you've truly understood. That's the hard part. But we're not done, because that's only the first half of the habit. Now we have to talk about how to effectively seek to be understood. Because when you listen first, you earn the right to speak.
The ancient Greeks figured this out thousands of years ago. To be persuasive, you follow a simple sequence. First comes ethos, that's your personal credibility, the trust you've already built by listening. Then comes pathos, that's connecting with them on an emotional level. And only then, after you've done those two things, do you present the logos, the logic, the reason, your actual idea. Most of us get this completely backward. We lead with logic and we wonder why nobody's listening.
But, and this is maybe the most important point of all, this is not a technique. This isn't some communication trick you can just turn on and off.
This is a habit that has to come from your character. It requires you to be secure enough in yourself that you can listen without getting defensive and confident enough that you're willing to be changed by what you hear. It's about who you are, not just what you do.
So, here's the takeaway. The next time you're talking to someone, could be your partner, your boss, your friend, you're going to have a choice. Are you going to jump in with your prescription, or are you going to take a breath, quiet your own mind, and choose to diagnose first? The power to completely transform that relationship is right there in that one choice. What are you going to choose?